Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Tuesday night. I've been trying to tell myself for a while now that more people are waking up, but the truth is they're not. I think some are, but for the most part, a lot of people are still asleep and just complacent and not aware. I'll go more into that. Also, we're going to talk about roaming mobs of teens. Something we really should be looking at, y'all. I'm also going to talk about a local police post here, a local situation here where we live. And we know we've been hearing about department stores, the big stores being ransacked and struggling to stay open. And, we heard about some like Walmart and some of the drugstores and some closing like Whole Foods. But what about Costco? Is Costco affected? I read a little bit about that. I'll go into that as well. It's very interesting. And I also have a good Bible verse to share with you towards the end. You definitely want to stay tuned for that one. It's a good one. But the first thing, roaming mobs of teens, and I've been seeing more than one story. This is just not just one isolated thing or here and there, every now and again thing. It's becoming more of a thing that I am finding. And it's not just in one town. It's not just one city. It's in several places. It's in more than that, actually. And it's really becoming a concern here in the United States. And I believe it's going to get much worse. And somebody had commented a while back saying that we're going to see a time when this is a true national emergency. And at the time, I'm like, no, I don't think so. But I'm second guessing that. I'm starting to wonder really about that. There were two cases just recently. It's San Francisco mall. They call it mall brawls, where these large groups, hundreds of young teens, are rushing. They're like bull rushing these malls. And they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're fighting, they're brawling with each other, they're stealing stuff, ransacking, looting. Bystanders, innocent people are caught in the melee. They're caught in between it all, in the crosshairs, and they're getting injured. And it's not just in downtown cities. I know this one was in San Francisco, in a suburb, I believe, of San Francisco. But what they're doing is they're just causing a lot of mayhem, and they can organize on social media, and it's like a coordinated attack, basically. It's organized. And then I saw a story that happened over this past weekend, over the holiday weekend, where a mob, I didn't say how many, but just on the little video that I watched, it was a lot of folks, attacked three young Marines. Now, this was in California, San Clemente. Am I saying that right? California, on a pier off the coast. And it was a large group. They're calling it a large group of juveniles. This is in Orange County. And it happened over the weekend, about 10 p.m. one night. So what happened, what they're saying is these Marines asked this big group of young folks, they were shooting fireworks and just making a lot of racket. They were fighting. They were just causing just a big ruckus out there. And these Marines asked them to stop shooting the fireworks. I don't know details of that in the story. It didn't really go into, if they asked how they approached these people. But as soon as they asked them to stop shooting the fireworks, they were attacked. And a big mob attack. There's only three guys, three Marines. So, the Marines are tough, but when you're going up against hundreds of people, you're not gonna make it. Now, these guys did survive. The video, I watched a little bit of a video. It showed them fighting back for a while, and then they just had to retreat, and they laid on the ground and just covered their heads, and they were getting kicked and beat. Luckily, there were no other weapons that I could tell being used on them. But they were being pounded, and luckily, now the hero, or some bystanders did intervene, saw what was going on, put them, and a woman, one of them was a woman, put herself between the mob and these young guys, these Marines, outstretched her arms and said, "Stop. You need to stop this." And they did. That could have been some divine intervention there going on. So luckily for them, the bystanders did intervene on that. Some good Samaritans probably saved them. So they did stop, ran away. The cops were coming and checked on these young guys, these young soldiers, and they were, they refused medical treatment. So luckily they were not heavily, badly injured. They got beat up pretty bad, it sounds like, but that was a disturbing. Thankfully, we had some good Samaritans there. And then I saw another one this weekend about Miami, I guess near Miami Beach, Hollywood Beach, I think they call it. There was a shooting out there, just random. I mean, people walking around, and there's a big shooting and people are running like crazy. I mean, what beach do you go to? I hear horror stories about Myrtle Beach. I think I went to Myrtle Beach one time, like years and years ago, but I hear it's terrible now. I mean, I know some people on the channel probably live there or visited there. I mean, what is going on there? That's in South Carolina. I mean, how do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for a mob? I mean, I guess we need to be vigilant about where we go, the time of day or night, and be smart about that. But still, you may just be caught in the middle, without no fault of your own. Of course, we can prepare and make sure we have defensive weapons on us. That's one thing we can do for sure, and we should. But against so many, that's tough. What do you do? Strength in numbers, on both sides, apparently. Okay, share your thoughts on that. A local police post, this was today. The local police where we live made a social media post asking the public to be on the lookout. Apparently, a guy they tried to stop, a traffic stop here locally, ran from the cops. Apparently, he probably had, they didn't say it, but he probably has warrants out on him, whatever. But ran from him, got away, and they put a description out there of this guy and just basically wanted to warn the public to stay away, don't approach, could be armed and dangerous, all that kind of stuff. And the comments are just stupid. I mean, they're just people trying to make jokes and trying to be the comedian. And people are just clueless. I mean, and then there's some comments, and I see this on other posts, similar posts. People are like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening here," or "Oh my goodness, when is this going to stop? When is this going to stop?" It's not. I mean, what are these people doing? I don't know what world they're in. Are they just perpetually have their head stuck in the ground in the sand? I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, it's frustrating. I shared the post with Mrs. Dawg. I'm like, look at the comments. These people are clueless. She said, "No, they're stupid." She wasn't as kind. She said, "That's stupid. Those are stupid comments." And they're not just clueless. It's, I have to agree, But anyway, there's that. But share what you think. I mean, am I alone in that thinking, I don't know. Yet another story. We've been talking about how the theft and the violence is increasing in a lot of retail stores, but it's worse than what we thought. I read a story just today, an updated story. This wasn't from weeks ago, about how grocery store chains are really struggling more than you realize. The story was about a company called Giant Food Chain. They operate 165 stores in the Northeast, Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Delaware. And the CEO was like, we're seeing more theft and more violence than we ever have, even from last year, even from 6 months ago. He said, we've done a lot of things. We're trying to combat this theft. We're limiting the entrances. We are hiring security guards, restricting the number of items that people can, used a self-checkout for. He said theft is has risen at least tenfold in the last couple of years. The violence is increasing exponentially. We may have to close stores. We are trying our best, but we have to run them and make a profit. We have to be safe, safety of our customers and our employees. But we may have to close. Now, we've heard about the others, that some have closed stores. Well, a lot of them have closed stores, depending on the location. Kohl's, Foot Locker, Walmart, Target, Whole Foods. Shut down just about everything. In one of I think that was Seattle, I think. Walgreens, Nordstrom, just to name a few. Costco. It talked about Costco a little bit. Very interesting. It said that their leader, CEO, I think, said that so far they've avoided the high theft. They have not seen a big spike in there. Now, that's probably a couple of things, and he acknowledged, they used the membership thing. You got to pay a membership just to get in the door. And he said they're very careful. They're very stringent on their entrances. They only have, I think, one entrance in and out, and it's heavily staffed and monitored. And he says he thinks they do a really good job of just managing that flow. We don't have a membership there. I'm not that fun. I don't shop there. We don't have one really close to us. So maybe, I know a lot of you probably are. Share what you think about that. I hear great things about them. But my thought is he hasn't seen it yet. Now they may start seeing it. Now, if some of these other stores, if you see, and I think we will, wholesale widespread closures of these stores, they will get hit. The predators will find a way to get into there, membership or not. That's my thought, at least. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, share your thoughts on all that. I'm going to share a really good passage this is from Matthew, the book of Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, 20, and 21. Actually, I'm going to do 19. Says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also. I just got on a roll and kept talking. That is 19 through 21. Matthew, the 6th chapter. But I think that's a good one. And really, they covered this in our church this past Sunday. And he's talking about how, don't be mastered by the worldly things, like so many are. It's easy to do. We've all been guilty at times of it, of course. But just watch that. How are you spending the majority of your time? How are you using your talents? Are you using them for furthering the kingdom and doing what God's purpose is for you? And if you're not sure, pray for guidance, on that. But the worldly things are temporary. They will fail. They will rust. They will be destroyed. And so let's keep that in mind and do what we can to be more like Jesus as well. All right. Hope that's helpful. Share your thoughts. Let's be aware. Stay safe. God bless you. I'll see you soon.